Good evening, one and all. I know you're going to be watching this later as like a re-upload because I'm doing this offline. But yeah, welcome to this super chat catch up. It feels like forever ago that I did Open Bar 19. It was fucking awesome. I think we broke a record for like the most people that we've had on one of these open bars before. I'm sure we had like almost 14,000 people watching us live, which was fucking awesome. The slight downside, though, is that we had a ton of super chats come in, and there was no way we were going to get through them all. In fact, I don't think we got through any of them because we spent all of our time ranting about how shit Thor was. But hey, here we are. Like, I never leave a super chat unread because it's just not ethical. And yeah, I want to make sure that they're all covered. So I'm doing this one here as like an offline super chat catch up. I've got me, I've got a drink, I've got the critical doggo over there. She's sleeping, which is what she does best. And yeah, I'm going to work my way through them. And yeah, there would just be no way I could do this as a live stream with more super chats coming in because I'd be doing this until Christmas. So this is the best way to do it. So anyway, that's enough pointless prattling on my part. Let's see the super chat, shall we? So the first one here was from Jim Junkie 35, who said, "Have you seen 13 Hours? Pretty standard action movie, but it's pretty cool to see a cast made up almost entirely of Alpha Chad characters." Yes, I have seen 13 Hours. Like you say, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just a good war movie, basically, with a lot of special forces guys surrounded, facing really shitty, tough odds, and fighting their way out. It's a bit like Black Hawk Down. Yeah, decent movie. John Krasinski's really good in it, and yeah, nothing bad I can say about it, really. If you just want a good solid action flick, then that's definitely one I'd recommend. Next one is Slap the Console, who said, "Hail Drinker, love to see a review of Good Luck to you, Leo Grande. It's a Hulu movie about a male prostitute that's very dialogue driven and handles the message, i.e. sexuality and body image, in a tasteful and mature manner." Fair play, man. I don't know much about it myself, but yeah, sounds all right, I guess. Charles Cauldron said, "I've been listening through all the old open bars, so I know this has been asked already, but can you and Muller review The Prestige?" Yes. It's one of his favorite movies and of mine. I loved your team-up review of Terminators 1 and 2. Yeah, it would be really interesting to talk about that film with Muller. Damn, it's a complex one. And I guess it's one of those films that really rewards people who pay attention and careful viewing. And obviously, that's what Muller really excels at. So, yeah, I think that'd be a good talk. Chuxenhausen says, "Thank you, Drinker, for always messaging back on Patreon and replying in the super chats, or to the super chats, sorry. I always get excited when you start one of these, and it makes me want to keep listening for all of eternity. And can't wait for your open bar review of Cobra Kai when it comes out in September. Hope you get that interview in." Nice one, man. Thank you very much. And yeah, man, we've got truly the duality of man in September. We've got Rings of Power coming out, and we've got Cobra Kai. I know which one I'd rather watch. Blue Collar Loser says, "Drinker, the sad part about Jane is, as an idea, she should work. Each time she uses the power, she's killing herself to save lives. That's a hero's arc." That's it, yeah. Like we said during the chat, there's a lot of interesting ideas that you could do a lot with if you were just willing to lean into the drama a little bit, because ultimately you're talking about a person facing the end of life. You know, that's not something that should just be a joke. You can certainly like bring in moments of levity because that's how people cope with tragic moments, but it can't all be a joke, and she can't just be, you know, happy clappy and optimistic and not really affected by all of this. That doesn't ring true. And so yeah, I absolutely agree that this could have been something awesome if it had been handled better. RRTNZ gave me a super sticker. Thanks, man. Angry Batman said, "Long-time follower, first-time chatter." Thank you. "You guys are awesome assholes. Can you give a shout out to my boss Ross, another big fan of yours?" Well, there you go. Thank you, Ross. I hope you're a good boss, and I appreciate the support, mate. Unhinged says, "The Drinker is here, and I'm ready for him to hammer my Rainbow Bridge with his Mjolnir." Don't tempt me, son. Grimnag28 says, "Always love catching you guys live. Here is some money for your trouble of watching this horrible modern media so we don't have to. Cheers, gents. And never forget Scotty and Pippin, those brave hobbits." Yeah. yeah, we do watch it so other people can avoid it. So yeah, that's what we do. You know, it's not always fun, and it's not always the most rewarding of things. But what we try to do, I guess, is to find ways that it could have been done better. You know, that's something that we discuss quite a bit on these open bars. Is you know, isn't this a good idea? If it had been handled a little bit better, implemented a little bit better, could have been something amazing. So, you know, we don't just want to bitch about things all the time. Next one is Gene the Machine says, Drinker, have you checked out the movie trailer for The Woman King? No, I haven't, I'm afraid. I don't know anything about that one. Grass Wolf said, just released our first music video, our version of Tell Me Why from the Berserk anime. Thanks for all that you do, you beauties. Glass bong hits whiskey glass. Cheers. Cheers, man. Skid Marky Mark says, I just want to say that the pick of Thor's new helmet alone is enough to turn me away from this movie. Yeah, his whole outfit's garbage. It's kind of weird as well because he's like a woman. He goes through about 5 different outfits in the course of this movie, and there's no real rhyme or reason for it. He just like clicks his fingers and just changes his whole appearance. Like, it's really weird. Starts out with his kind of cool outfit from I think from Ragnarok, where it's a bit more muted and subdued, but you know, cool looking. And at a certain point in this film, he just transitions into this fucking cartoonish Technicolor nightmare. So yeah, it looks like shit. Ghost in the Craig says, Thor, The Last Man will probably be the 5th title. Yeah, Thor, The Last Man. Yeah. It's shaping up that way. He's probably going to be the last man standing in the MCU at this rate. Johnny's says, greetings, Drunkler. Greeting to you. I believe you would really enjoy The Terminal List if you haven't already watched it. Excellent series, well-produced stuff. Hail Open Bar and this sexy panel. We are sexy, and we appreciate that. But yeah, I'm watching The Terminal List now. I've just about finished it. Planning to review it as soon as I'm done. And I must say, I'm impressed. The first episode, a little bit rocky. Dialogue and stuff's a little bit cliched, and the acting's not amazing. But once it gets into it, really good show. Chris Pratt is brilliant in it. Wouldn't have expected this from him, but yeah, he can do stuff apart from just being Star-Lord or some variation of Star-Lord. Like, he can actually bring a bit of gravitas to a pretty dark role. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I love the fact that it's doing so well, and the mainstream media is fucking melting down about it. Mr. Taco Petit says, more people souring on the MCU. Imagine that. Yeah. That's the way it's going. People are slowly turning against it, I think. What can I say? It's just been a bit shit in Phase 4. Ben Chapman says, R.I.P. James Caan. Yeah. One of the greats of Hollywood. I think he was 82 when he passed away. Excellent actor. You know, been in some incredible films over the years, especially Rollerball. I fucking love that film. But yeah, it's sad to see him go. But you know, at least he was a decent age, I suppose. Carrier, a Raccoon City Story says, hey, dude, I heard that you're coming down to Tampa for Comic-Con. Any word on what day and time you'll be working? Yeah, so I am going to be there all weekend. So the whole weekend of the con, I'm going to be there. I've got a couple of panels. I'm doing one where I'm talking about me, my favorite subject. No, I kid. Joking on that one. Like, I will be doing a panel like where I get interviewed and stuff, but fuck knows how I'm going to fill it up. I'll just try and do Q&A as quickly as possible. But yeah, the rest of the time I'll be moving around. I've got a booth apparently where I'm going to be like signing autographs, doing merchandise, whatever else that you do at these things. I'm not too experienced with them because this is my very first one. Hopefully I don't get murdered, and yeah, hopefully it turns out to be good fun. But yeah, the plan is that we do this one in Tampa, and I'm going to start doing them on a more regular basis. So you'll hopefully see me in various random places in America. You know, I'll just get on a plane and just see where the fucking road takes me. You know? But no, it should be good. I'm apparently going to be, hopefully, at New York Comic-Con in October as well. So that should be good. We'll just see how they go. The Present Fathers podcast says, love this group and all the content that you all do. Thoughtful, truthful, always standing up for us, the fans. Keep up the great work, you all. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it very much. And yeah, we're just doing our best. What can I say? Thomas Decker Studios says, "Do you hear that the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh just died?" Ah, fuck. Wasn't really a big fan of it or anything. I wasn't into that stuff, but always sad when a creator passes away. Edit Man says, "Do you think Love and Thunder is the MCU's Batman and Robin?" It's got a lot of the trappings of it. I mean, the thing is, it was already trending that way with Ragnarok. Going down that more campy, silly road, but yeah, man, it's got that feel to it. If if the first two were like Batman and Batman Returns, then yeah, this has definitely become like the Joel Schumacher version. Worked at first, not so much this time. Jackson Lindgren says, "Do you think actors like Hemsworth and Bale realize how hollow the MCU is as far as good entertainment goes? I figured Bale, of all people, wouldn't be afraid to say a movie is garbage at the red carpet." I don't know, man. I guess you sign a non-disparagement clause when you take on something like this, and yeah, you'd be pretty foolish to just tank your own movie. Ask him in a few years, I suppose, when the contract's lapsed, and see how he feels then. But man, it was surprising to see a guy like Bale in a movie like this. I just figured he was done with these big blockbuster, popcorn movies. And yeah, especially having done the Dark Knight trilogy, like damn man, you're gonna have to go some to top that, and this ain't it. So yeah, he absolutely would have known how shit this film is. Hemsworth, I think he's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. I think he's probably quite keen to have an exit plan now from the MCU and just move beyond Thor. Kind of feels like like Chris Pratt is going down that road as well. Like he's really broadening out his acting stuff, his acting career beyond the MCU, because he probably knows the writing's on the wall as far as Star-Lord goes. He's probably got one more Guardians movie in him, and then I think he might be done as well. Adrian FR says, "Everyone went crazy with Ragnarok, so Taika assumed this is what people wanted." I think this is what happens, yeah. Like, people become a victim of their own success. It's something that worked in that context because like anything was better than Thor: The Dark World. But yeah, you just get lazy, I guess. You get complacent, and you're just like, yeah, people want the jokes. Okay, fine. I'm going to give them a metric fuck ton of jokes. Never mind the plot. Yeah, I'll figure that out later. So yeah, I'm actually planning to do a video where I do like a scene comparison between Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, just to demonstrate how one was actually fairly like intelligently written and everything kind of builds on each other, whereas the other one's dumb as fuck and it's all about the gags and nothing else. Game Dude says, "Drinker and wonderful guests, I want to thank you all for the happy hours and open bars. Thank you. Just watched Independence Day last weekend. I love how corny and awesome this movie is all at the same time." Absolutely. Guilty pleasure. Don't care. It's fucking fun. Yeah, still cheer when they make their attack on the the big city destroyer spaceship as it's flying towards Area 51, and they get the shields down. Love like Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith in it. Like, yeah, it's just a fun movie. Doesn't try to preach at you. Doesn't have pretensions of being anything grand or intellectual. It's just fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. Slack Attack says, "The tonal shift in these movies, the hesitation to allow a serious moment to breathe without a cringy joke forcibly shoved in, makes me think Taika is a child afraid of confrontation and reality." I mean, this is the thing, right? This is the problem with Taika Waititi. He's capable of making really good movies. Like, I think Mahler and I referenced this. Like, Jojo Rabbit is a great film. It's really well done. And that gets the balance between comedy and drama right. There's some genuinely shocking moments in that film that just hit you like a sledgehammer because they are given room to breathe. He knows in that film, hey, there's times when you don't joke. There's times when you get serious as fuck, and it really works when it's lulled you into a false sense of security. Hunt for the Wilder People is another great one. A lot of like, it's got like a kind of funny, whimsical kind of veneer to it, but underneath it, there's some quite serious shit going on, and some pretty hard hitting moments. Again, good film. He got the balance right. He understood. I don't know with this one whether he was under too much time pressure, couldn't come up with a properly well constructed story, or he just didn't give a fuck. Maybe the success got to him. Maybe he just was convinced that I can shit out anything and people will love it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know his mindset on it, but the decline in quality writing wise between Ragnarok and Love and Thunder is really fucking noticeable. Next one. Jonathan Till says, do we think Disney are cheaping out? Like, why doesn't Gore look like Gore? They put prosthetics to create Thanos from the cosmetics. Why not Gore? Or sorry, from the comics. Why not Gore? Also, new Willow series trailer and Archer with carbon fiber arrows. What the fuck? Yeah, anything goes with Willow. Like, Disney will fuck it up for sure. With Gore, as I understand it, they were concerned that he was going to look too much like Voldemort from Harry Potter because he doesn't have a nose in the comics, and like, yeah, the similarities were going to be maybe a bit too much, and so they wanted to change him a little bit and maybe make him a little bit more tragic and sympathetic because he's more realist or more identifiably human. I don't know, but yeah, it's a bit of a kind of departure from the comics, I guess. Like they nailed it with Thanos. He was great. What the fuck are you doing? You're not supposed to move around. Get back up onto your sleeping place. What the hell? The critical doggo moved. That almost never happens. Kim Bob says, Hail Drinker and Co. After watching the new Thor film, be sure to drink your finest liquor to get rid of the sour taste. Keep up the content. Oh, cheers, man. And yeah, much was drunk after that. Trust me. Jim says Thor was one of the most miserable experiences I've had in the cinema. Wasn't expecting it to be good, but I was kind of blown away by how bad it was. We all were, trust me. Taylor A says, have you guys had a chance to see the Terminal List yet? It was a blast reading the book and watching the show. Yep, like I say, really good show. Can't wait to review it and recommend it to people. See It Twice said, do they anthropomorphize Thor's hammer to explain why it lowers its standards and chooses Jane, or do we have to wait for Thor 5? The Mjol is near. Apparently, it all harkens back to like a conversation that Thor had with the hammer, where he's like, protect Jane at all costs. So, yeah, that's apparently how it's this whole plot takes place. And this allows the hammer to reforge itself because, you know, it couldn't do that before, but now it can. Fuck it, I don't understand it. It's just Taika just rewriting shit. Torgo the White says, I'll just rewatch Rollerball. Good choice, mate. Much more coherent sounding than Thor and much less breaded. Hail the late great James Caan, indeed. Fuck a Wolf says, Hail Drinker, remember the Highlander TV show? It's still good, even the last season, a lot better than a lot of the garbage we have today. Yeah, I never really got into the TV show, sadly. I didn't like this idea that you've got like a whole new McLeod who's just going to take over. God bless Christopher Lambert for making little cameos in it, though. That was nice. But yeah, I love the original. The second one, shit. Endgame, it was basically like a bit of a decline after the first one, really. Double O Excellence says, everything after Endgame and the rest of Spider-Man's arc is non-canon to me. To me, the story is complete. Yeah, 100% agree. There's nothing really of value been added. Chris W says, what's up, lads? A lot of things was up, mostly our blood pressure when we were talking about Thor. Krusty Juggler says, they might as well have just done it with Melissa McCarthy and Seth Rogen and called it Thor, Unlove and Thunder Thighs. When Melissa McCarthy showed up, man, I was like, fuck this movie. I'm done. Job the Javelin says, watch Hell or High Water. It's great. Fair play, yeah. I've heard great things about it. Savvy Sparrow says, Hail Drunkler and Mooblingston. Why does Anakin have an American accent, but Vader's is English? Does the mask also change his accent? That is a very good question. And one they were never really able to answer because, yeah, I could totally see it changing the tone and pitch and stuff of a person's voice, but it's not going to change the accent. And I can never remember the actor's name, the original actor that they brought in to do that Vader unmasked scene. But I know that he was good friends with Alec Guinness because they were both like, you know, proper English thespians. And so, yeah, here they were doing this crazy sci-fi movie together. So it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, it's one of those things that'll never be answered. Gopher73 says, I feel more stupid just by listening to you. Can't imagine what the real movie would have done to my brain. Cheers from Germany, you beautiful people. Thank you. Well, it's probably given us brain damage, to be fair. So yeah, this is the only thing that like keeps us going. Dave Panrios says, are you Thor, the god of hammers? Yeah. Spermy Wiener. Hi guys, thanks to Azzy's video. I've just seen the latest Marvel movie. Save me my money for this. I'm giving it to the drinker instead of Az. Oh, give it to Az. He made that video. Yeah, that was quite a good one actually. It was the most product of Marvel products. Jason Cannon says, "Ha, drinker. I asked if you were going to watch Stranger Things 4 a month or so ago, and you said hell no. Still love you, dude. Had to call you out. Hey, you know what? I am happy that I was wrong. I thought Stranger Things was going to be shit, and I was pretty much checked out of it. And then people started saying really good things about it, and I thought, well, it's worth a look at least. Maybe they figured something out. And it turns out they really had. They fixed a lot of the problems that season 3 brought on, and I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased that I was wrong on that one, because it's nice to be pleasantly wrong. You know. I'd much rather this than I predict a movie's going to be fantastic and it turns out to be garbage. You know, it's nice to be pleasantly surprised every once in a while. So hey, I'll take that one. Skylar Hillman says, "Is there a superhero movie you've enjoyed in the last year?" Yeah, so really enjoyed Spider-Man: No Way Home. Thought it was pretty good. Thought they really did justice to the three Spider-Men from different eras, brought them all together, gave them good arcs. Gave Andrew Garfield a bit of redemption, which I think he definitely deserved. And yeah, like had a pretty emotionally compelling climax to the story. So yeah, that was a good superhero movie that they did really well. So I am pleased by that. And The Batman was okay. Wasn't amazing. And that final act of it probably could have been cut out and it would have made for a much tighter and smarter film. But overall, still quite liked it. So yeah, it is possible to make a good superhero film in 2022, but Marvel just are struggling to do it, really. Clive Nebula says, Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod. Absolutely. Gerald Armstrong said, you guys could do a show, call it the Island Boys. Thanks. Ian So Forth says, Taika's the guy still making the joke 10 minutes after everyone stopped laughing. That's what it feels like, man. That fucking play scene in Love and Thunder, it went on forever. We were all begging for it to end. Just shite. Yeah. There's nothing worse than like just trying to keep selling a joke long after everyone's just lost interest, and that's what you get in this. IB Dewey says, Jane cosplaying as Thor is pure pandering. Why didn't Cap get the name and outfit? The film only added the scene with the kids becoming Thor to combat Jane becoming Thor. Everyone can be Thor, see? Yeah. That opens up so many fucking problems. I mean, I guess Taika's answer would be you're just not meant to think about it too much. But yeah, when you basically say that Thor can turn an unlimited number of people into Thor for a certain amount of time, wow. It really makes you question why he never did that before during really like desperate times when he could use an army of Thors to see off a really powerful enemy, like Thanos, for example. Like, imagine if he just said, all the Avengers, you have the power of Thor until Thanos is dead. Fucking great. Like, Infinity War never would have happened then. They would have just kicked his ass. But no, just rewrite fucking everything. Who cares? Ryan Davis says, Drinker is wearing my favorite shirt. Oh, was that the... I assume that was the umbrella one. Yeah, I love that shirt. I feel amazing every time I wear it. I've got the power of Albert Wesker in me. Tia Natos says, I laughed at the Rick and Morty joke at the end. Fair enough. Jack Tees says, it's so unfair that we have all these good actors and a lot of money, but they fail so spectacularly. Was I talking about A, The Boys, B, Phase 4 of the MCU, or C, the live-action Star Wars shows? This is it. You throw enough money at people, you'll get these good actors involved, but even Christian Bale can only do so much. Mike Hillier says, I don't understand. Taika can make Jojo Rabbit with serious moments, but can't do it with Thor. That's it, yeah. Exactly, as I've said before. Antorius Vex says, of course, when Disney makes a movie focused on a male, they turn it into one long joke. It's just what they do. Yeah, absolutely. I notice he needs a woman to help him out constantly. So, the message is there. Jonathan Till says, oh, also, clearly that would never get reversed. Like, Captain Marvel, she's never going to need a man to help her out. Like, guaranteed. Same with She-Hulk. Jonathan Till says, do we think anyone actually read the graphic novels with gore in them? Because it doesn't sound like it. I mean, none of us probably did, but I'm sure there's people out there. Taker610 says the MCU has the Triforce that only works once. I mean, with something like this, it's proof that you can only recycle the same ideas and the same strategies so many times before they just stop working, particularly if you just push them to the point of like insanity. Jonathan Gosling says, my mother had chemo radiotherapy without hair loss. Oh, okay, fair play. I mean, well, I hope she made a full recovery as well. But we kind of bandied this about like when we were talking about Jane. I know that some people can have chemo and it doesn't affect them in the same way as others, but when you're talking about the kind of visual impact that you want in a character on screen, it would have been quite an impactful moment to see Jane actually looking ill. Because as it stands, she looks great. She looks like just Natalie Portman, like hale and healthy with a full head of hair. And, she doesn't even have like pale skin or like, shadows under her eyes or anything. She just looks fine. And it just seems like a wasted opportunity. You could show her actually being, fighting a losing battle against this thing. But no, again, it would have made it too serious, I guess. Enough Dwarves to Kill a Bear says, how many gods does the God butcher in this movie? It's never really explained. Like, it's mentioned by Zeus and a few other people that he's killed some low-level gods. Although there's one that seems to be the size of a fucking mountain, so I don't know how he's classed as a low-level one. It's never really explained. And it all happens kind of off-screen. There's only one god that he actually kills for everyone to see, and that's just the very first one, and it's like self-defense as well. It would have been nice to see him get to like the god city. I can't even remember what it's called, like the eternal city or something like that, and wreak havoc there. But nah, that's all left because it would have been too heavy, I suppose, for Taika. IB Dewey says Jane cosplaying as Thor and King Valkyrie are both annoying, obvious pandering, but the gore design looks like Jeremy Reed from Powder. Pissed me off. Yeah, it does look a bit like him actually. It's just Christian Bale with a shaved head and white makeup. That's all you got. Craig Rhodes says the biggest crime is Jane Foster's cancer backstory being fast forwarded like it was a joke. Exactly. Yeah. Pavel Sevchik says, never forget that this movie was made by a person who said, I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby. Yep, that sums up his attitude. Taika was just out to tell his own story, and he was out to have fun. And from what I understand about how he makes these films, he basically just shoots whatever idea comes into his head. Like, an idea for a scene comes in, they shoot it. That's why the first draft of this film was apparently 4.5 hours long, and they had to try and cut it down to make the cut for for theatrical run times. And you think the shit that they left in is so unfunny. Like, imagine what they must have cut out of this thing. But that's what it comes down to. It's just like a guy given an unlimited budget and all these actors to play with, and just told just have fun, and that's what he did. Apparently his sets are happy sets because the actors are just dicking around and doing whatever the fuck they feel like. Great. It doesn't result in a good film though. General Grievous says, in the comics, the Gore's sword belonged to Null, the god of the symbiotes. Fair play. The Necro sword. Glib Facsimile says, if you want a vision of the future of media, I can see where this is going. Imagine a Disney-branded boot stamping on the face of fans forever. Taika Waititi is insufferable to me. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's maybe been sniffing his own farts for too long. I guess he's had too much success. Ian So Forth says, can't believe he didn't know Natalie Portman was in Star Wars. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. That's not a small oversight, like not knowing Anakin was in Star Wars, like Disney writers. Yeah. Christ, imagine that conversation. Like, yeah, Natalie, you should be in my Star Wars movie. Like, that'll be great. We people would love to see you in Star Wars. She's just like, Taika, got some bad news for you. Harry Houdini says, you guys should check out Robot Head. Awesome content creator. He'd fit right in with you guys. Yeah, I like Robot Head. He's pretty funny. Yeah, good guy. Nephilim Heart says, trying to get attention for Cranky Treks. Probably be a good guest for EFAP. Does good work, but only has 130-ish subs. Mauler ignores my super chats, hoping for you to be more charitable. Yeah, so what is this? Cranky Treks. I mean, I do try to bring smaller creators on who are just like starting out, give them a bit of exposure. So I'll keep them in mind, man. James Moore says, Taika Waititi once said, I'd ruin your mythos. He kept to his word. He's his own worst enemy. He's got really good and really bad works. Yeah, I said this on Twitter. Right after I got done seeing Thor, I said Taika Waititi is his own worst enemy because he just doesn't know when to rein it in. But I think he is a creative guy. He does have good ideas, but he needs someone to balance him out. Maxwell Wushules says, have you ever thought about watching Neon Genesis Evangelion? Yes, I can never say this one. Evangelion. It's just been announced that the final movie of the rebuild is coming to Western theaters later this year, and I'm pumped to say the least. Yeah, I've heard it's good. Don't know much about it beyond that, but yeah, I need to get into more of this stuff. Ashwolf says, hail all you guys, long-time watcher of you all. The sword was made by Null, the symbiote god. He crafted the sword from a celestial that he killed. Null is the god of the void and is one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel universe. Anyways, cheers. Yeah, see, this is one of the big things that was missing from the movie is like some context for the Necro sword. Like, where the fuck did it come from? Like, it's explained here, but there's nothing in the movie. It's just kind of lying about, and Gore finds it and uses it to kill his first god. I want to know more about it. It's treated like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, that it corrupts you. It's really powerful, but using it carries a heavy price. Tell me more about that. This is important stuff. I want to learn more about it. Like, God, there's so much interesting stuff that Taika was playing with this movie. If he'd just been a bit smarter about how he did it. AD says, the question is, why was this film made in the first place? Easy money. It didn't bring the MCU further in any way, shape. It's just more of the same. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just easy money. All it is. Waiting for Godot says, thanks guys for the great chat and congrats Drinker on the new book, duly pre-ordered. Thank you very much, man. That's Dark Harvest and that's coming out on the 16th of August. Just finished Sacrifice. Loved it. Any chance of a Ryan Drake movie in the future? That'd be awesome. Well, we've sold the movie rights. They've got a script. They've got a budget. They're scouting locations in Eastern Europe because it's cheaper to shoot there. I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be like a $200 million, tentpole movie or anything, but they've got a certain amount of money to make this thing. Hopefully they can do something with it. I'd love to see it. That's all I can tell you right now. Watch this space, I suppose. Mecha J says, when Taika said, I'll ruin your mythos, people said he was kidding. This movie showed he was not joking at all. Yeah, totally. Steve Baker says, you should give The Hunt a watch. It's a great example of how you can actually portray a strong female character. The Hunt. Now, this rings a bell. I think I've seen it. I'm going to check. Okay, if this is the one I'm thinking of, it's a horror movie. Okay. Film a group of high-income progressive people who kidnap working-class people with conservative political views and hunt them for sport. Okay. All right, yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's about the divide between left and right and stuff. Fair enough. Yeah, it's not the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, it sounds interesting. Mark Bentley says, Tonka Whiter Tea, the emotional maturity of a boy. Well, Chris Hemsworth said it was like a film written by a 7-year-old, so that pretty much sums it up. Mecha J says, and when Taika said he'll ruin your mythos in a minute, he miscalculated. This movie took less than a few seconds to do it. Yeah. It was. I said to Muller, first 3 minutes or so were really good. Javid, sorry, I'm trying to read this. Jadvid Benscom says Interstellar is my favorite fake space movie. I don't know, man. Like, I could pick you better ones, but Interstellar was good up until the ending, then it felt like it was fudged. Jeremiah Dobler said, I'll take Captain America Thor over Jane Foster Thor any day of the week and twice on Thor's Day. Yes. I love that he's got a day of the week named after him. I didn't mind Captain America wielding the hammer. I felt it was totally earned, and it was set up like way back at Age of Ultron, so I'm totally cool with that. A Knight says, Disparu, read the Terminal List book. They dumbed it down, Hollywoodizing it. They changed the chain of events. As a veteran, they took out everything realistic military from it. In my opinion, the book is great. I mean, not being a fucking veteran, man, I can't speak from a military point of view. There's shit that happens in it that's very action movie-ish. In terms of like the sort of deployments and stuff of the special forces guys, like they seem to behave fairly well, but yeah, you'd know better than I would. Phil Swift says, I love the scene where Thor said, it's Thor time, and Thored all over those guys. Yeah, he Thored to the max. I've never seen someone Thor so hard in my life. Sith Cake says, no one called her Lady Thor when the comics came out. We all called her. Right. I see where you're going with that one. Pop Culture Rocks said, thanks for taking the hit, man. I'm glad I didn't waste my time. Yeah, don't waste your time or money, for sure. The Gringo Show said, why couldn't Lady Thor come from the multiverse? That would explain why she's worthy. It would also be an interesting dynamic between Thor's Jane and multiverse Jane. Gore's wish would have been to save Jane. I mean, well, Natalie Portman's too old, so they weren't going to bring her back and keep her around in the MCU, I guess. And they could have done something interesting with the fact that it is his Jane, because if it had been a multiverse Jane who just rocks up as Thor and there's no real context behind it, it would have been a bit unsatisfying. Because we had that in Doctor Strange, where you had, Peggy Carter being Captain America and whatever the fuck her name is being Captain Marvel, just like all these people swapped in. There was no satisfaction to it because you didn't know these people. The Doctor 14 Blu-ray review says, why do you hate Barry Island? We'll never know. Average Man says, I enjoyed Bale's performance as a pantomime villain. Yeah, it was kind of all over the place. Like, there's great moments of, like, real drama where he's actually, he's got to act serious and play like a father who's just lost his daughter. And all that stuff is great. But then, yeah, there's a few moments where he's just proper pantomime villain, just tormenting these kids that he's got as hostages. And it's really, like, kind of childish the way he's acting. It's weird. Again, I would put that down to the writing and the direction. Like, he was told to do that stuff, and I guess he just had to do the best with it. Refresh Broccoli says, Bale's acting in this film was incredible. Yeah, like, when he was given good material, it was great. Other times, bit shitty. But yeah, overall, he did his best with what he had. My Nerdy Home says, Panel of Legends. Thank you. Waffle says, I watched Night's Watch, Shadiversity, and they mentioned how there's a carpenter god, Jesus, and how Gore is dressed like Jesus, and that this is a jab at Christianity. Your thoughts? Okay, the carpenter god thing is just a real offhand comment. Like, it's not like it's done with derision or anything like that. It's just like, there's the carpenter god over there, something like that. So it's an offhand comment. I don't think they really meant anything like that or about it. Yeah, with Gore being dressed like Jesus, I don't know if I would interpret that as a jab at Christianity, but it could just be a jab at any religion, really, because they've all got visions of these like prophetic Messiah figures who are usually just dressed in simple robes. Like that's the kind of style, I guess, of a lot of these religious figures. So I didn't think it was specific to Christianity. I think it was just about religion in general. And I think, if there's anything this movie's trying to address, it's the question of religion and whether any of the gods are actually worthwhile, whether there is an afterlife, whether any of this is worthwhile. You know, the movie could try to address stuff like that. It doesn't do a very good job at it, but that's the theoretical idea behind it. But yeah, I never got a real sense that this was trying to make fun of Christianity, because you could really see it as mocking the a whole bunch of religions, like Zeus, the king amongst gods, the most powerful god of all. He talks like a fucking like Turkish kebab shop owner. You know, it's all really campy and cheesy, and it's just he's just made a fool of, really. So yeah, it's a jab at the whole concept of godhood, I suppose. The Horrific Podcast says Gore sounds like the child catcher out of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'm so glad that you watch these movies so I don't have to. the child catcher was probably more intimidating than this Gore. Jakob Kritza says Drinker wanted to ask why Jane had found Mjolnir. Right, so basically, yeah, she is suffering from terminal cancer. The chemotherapy that she's going through isn't helping. She's trying to find a solution, and so she stumbles upon a text that explains that Thor's hammer could grant its wielder unnatural strength, power, and good health. And so that's it. That's all she's got to go on. And this is from a book written by humans, so it's about Nordic religion, not about Asgardians. And that's enough for her to say, I need to go to New Asgard and find Mjolnir, which has been fragmented into like a million bits because it was destroyed by Hela, and just, I don't know, hope that it cures me somehow. And that's all. That's all it is. She just goes there and it reforges itself and you know, turns her into Lady Thor. That's literally all it is. It's so weird. Ginger Gandalf says the other writer's biggest film was a comedy about a teenage road trip to get an abortion called Unpregnant. That's the kind of people we're dealing with here. Fuck. Travis says RIP Loki tattoo is so normies can share RIP Loki hashtags on social media. Oh god, that's probably true as well. Fuck. Loki died in his own show. That's the ironic thing. Like, that show fucking killed him more than Thanos ever did. Yeah, garbage. Fucking hate that show. Jin Korea says, I will ruin your mythos in a second. Well, I guess you did, indeed. Jakob Karitsa says, how did Jane find Mjolnir? Yeah, I just talked about that. Mecca J, I compared this type of humor in Love and Thunder to the show Family Guy. The moment they have a serious emotion, they feel they need to undercut with a joke. Pretty much, yeah. DM says, just watched All of Us Are Dead. What are everyone's thoughts on it? If you've not seen it, I'd recommend. Also, hi Az, but not Rags. Also, hi Rags. Yeah, I'm trying to get Mauler to watch All of Us Are Dead because I watched it. I've reviewed it. I really liked it. I thought it was a nice take on the zombie genre. Some of the action scenes were fantastic, like big, long, continuous shots of like an entire school getting overrun. I thought that the actors, they're all, they must all be teenagers or early 20s because they're all playing like high school students. I thought they do a great job. You really feel for the people, like when they're put in horrible situations where they start losing their friends and stuff. Yeah, it's a really good show, and I hope I can get other people to watch it. One day I'll get Mauler to watch it. I'll browbeat him into it because I can always hold Arcane over him and say, like, I recommended that to you, and eventually you watched it and you loved it, so you'll like this as well. Skysox says, have any of you guys watched the new series The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow? Show is so good, one of the best shows of the year. I haven't seen it, but that's a fucking great pairing. Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow, love both of them as actors, so yeah, sounds good. Primer says, hearing you guys talk about villains' motivations being terribly written reminds me of Tenet. No joke, the bad guy wanted to collapse the space-time continuum because his wife left him and took the kids. Yeah, fuck that movie. That was a bridge too far for Nolan, and I think it really exposed that he's not that great at writing. He's great at concepts. He's great at these like mind-bending, physics-defying concepts, but when it comes to like crafting the human motivations behind it, man, he struggles. Biggest Roadhog says, is the movie good compared to Ragnarok? No, it's not as good as Ragnarok. No way. Swords and Starships says, all these fantastic Brits makes me almost wish we Yanks had stayed with the crown back in 76. Almost hail the Illuminati of pop culture critique. Yeah, we were staging a British invasion. God damn it. Yeah. But yeah, you guys are having like Independence Month, so yeah, fucking power to you. Love it. Flag Ninja says, I tried to start a revolution, but I didn't print enough pamphlets, so hardly anyone turned up except my mom and her boyfriend, Korg and Ragnarok. Yep. Let's hear it. That's your classic Korg humor. Wait a minute, actually. Mom, that doesn't work because we find out in Love and Thunder that his species reproduces asexually. So there's no mothers. There's just like rock monsters. Oh, Taika. You underwriting your own fucking continuity. Who would have expected it? Blunt Objection says, I just can't believe they left Jane with a full head of hair. That's not how chemo works. Yeah. We talked about it earlier. Apparently you can keep it sometimes. It doesn't always take everyone. Sacred Taker 610 says, the corrupt argument explains why people wonder why Finn takes such joy in gleefully killing troopers he knows are just like him in TFA. I don't know, man. Does being behind the controls of a TIE fighter corrupt you? Maybe. The Rand Man says, just like Wonder Woman 1984. It's got that feel. It's got that ridiculous Technicolor, aesthetic to it. Yeah, both dumb as fuck. Both started out from a reasonably promising predecessor. James Moore says, unironically, now I'm worried that season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows isn't going to be good after hearing how bad this movie is. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the show, but I don't know how involved he is. Like, does he write all of it, or does he just contribute to it? Fernando Estevez says, thing is, Taika Waititi completely stole an Italian movie called A Vida e Bella and watered it down. It's a movie about a father and his son during World War II. Okay. Doc Magnus says, sounds a hell of a lot like Thor, Thud, and Blunder. That's pretty much what it is. Jackson Kai says, looking through that Patrick Williams response on Twitter, he also admitted he hated Kenobi. Must suck to be the face of defending Disney Star Wars. That is an uphill fucking battle at this point, man, honestly. I just can't imagine now being a person who gets excited about a new Disney Star Wars show. What is there to get excited about? Just another, like, helping of generic content sludge. That's all you're going to get. Fernando Estevez says, La Vita Bella, an Italian movie. A Jewish father and his son are sent to a concentration camp, and he makes the best he can for his son to believe it's a game and kind of protect him. It's one of the most touching films ever. Yeah, so over here, this is called Life is Beautiful. And yes, I've seen it, and it's a fantastic movie. The main actor in it is brilliant. And yeah, like you say, they're sent to a concentration camp, and he tries to turn it into a game for his son to try and spare him or to try and protect him for like what's really going on around them. And it doesn't sound like it would be very funny, but like he manages to bring moments of levity to it. And yeah, man, it's got a really fucking touching ending that's difficult to watch. So yeah, the guy, I think the star of it, and I can't remember his name, he won an Oscar for his performance in that, and deservedly so. It's an excellent movie. Tubby says, everyone here needs to watch Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal. It's legit the antithesis of everything wrong with modern entertainment. I have heard about Primal, actually. It's meant to be good. The Master Nater says, the world Vecna went to first is not the Upside Down. Okay. There are 3 realities in total. The Upside Down is a melding of where Vecna first went and Hawkins, created by 11. Think of a Venn diagram. Okay. That makes a bit of sense, actually. Because we were trying to, on the stream the other night, we were trying to puzzle out like how the Upside Down actually was formed and why, when he first went in, there was no sign of Hawkins. It was just like this kind of desert landscape where physics was, went out the window and stuff, and there was like big chunks of rock floating through the air. But then when you see the Upside Down now, it's like a corrupted version of Hawkins where everything is mirrored. So yeah, that explains a little bit then about how there's versions of it. Master of Puppets says, love your content, Drinker, ever since I saw your Black Panther review. God, that's going back a ways. When someone tells me Black Widow was good, I send them to the long man. Awesome. Yeah, he fucking demolished that movie. It was great. Rees de Madrid says, I hope they would have had Hopper jump into the Upside Down before the machine exploded, and like Will, he would have survived in the Upside Down for weeks looking for an exit and ends up finding an exit in a Russian lab. That would have made more sense. Would have been more satisfying. As it was, he just kind of ducked when the explosion happened, and then he was just picked up afterwards. Yeah. Sean Goggins says, I went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once based on your recommendation. Top 5 favorite movies now. Yeah, good one, man. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it because, yeah, it was a good film. It just pisses me off that it came out around about the same time as Multiverse of Madness. Again, dealing with the idea of the multiverse, but it made like 1/10 the amount of money that Doctor Strange made. And it's such a shame because there's so much more thought and heart put into that film. Luke 1977 says, complete waste not using the young Thor, old Thor, and Thor working together from the comic run. One of my favorite comic butchered by Taika, the comic butcher. What better way to find himself than that? Yeah, that would have been cool, actually. Ian says, Tolkien is ancient history. I mean, he is at this point, I suppose. For a lot of people today, anything before like 2010 is ancient history. Master of Puppets says, saw Free Guy after your vid. How did it do a better lightsaber reveal and fight than Obi-Wan? Love all your guest content. Keep up. That bit made me laugh, actually, yeah. When he had Captain America's shield as well, it was good. Free Guy was a funny movie because, you know, should just be a dumb as fuck, low effort Ryan Reynolds film. You know, just the kind of thing that he's churning out, you know, every few weeks at this point. But there was a decent bit of heart behind it, and I think there was a nice, like, wholesome message behind the whole thing. And yeah, it was just better than it had any right to be. I think that was a funny little film, but I enjoyed it. So, Tyler Padone says lots of character plot armor in season 4. That is, yeah, very true. There's certain people you just know are not going to die. Dustin, he's never going to die. No fucking way. But, you know, I can forgive it because they've got fan favorites. I would like to think that they'll take more risks in season 5 because it's like the final one. So it's like they don't have to worry about continuing on the legacy or anything. And yeah, maybe they'll get a bit more adventurous there. Kelly Johnson says, Drinker, who will be Jon Snow's new love interest? Probably his direwolf. Fuck it. At this point, who even cares? You know, I can't believe they're doing a spin-off of this. I don't think people are crying out for a Jon Snow, you know, spin-off. Kit Harington's obviously just not got much going on right now. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're also at the end of the super chats. So yeah, man, that was relatively quick and easy. But I appreciate everyone who sent me these super chats. Like I say, I'm sorry that it took so long to get round to doing them all. I've been really busy, and I had to go away on vacation for a week. I know it's a tough fucking life. But on the plus side, we got like a heat wave in the UK, and I got sunburned, so hence why I'm slightly glowing at the moment. But yeah, I couldn't let this rest. I had to get them finished, so I'm glad I was able to address them all. And yeah, I had my critical doggo here to help me. She moved at one point, so that was nice. But yeah, so that's pretty much all that I covered for tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be interviewing Mark Miller, the comic book writer who's done everything from fucking Civil War to Kick-Ass to King of Spies to Wanted. This dude has worked for DC and Marvel. His career's span like the past 20 years. And he's Scottish, which makes him fundamentally awesome. So he's going to be on Drinker's VIP Lounge tomorrow night. So I'm very much looking forward to talking to him. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be at Tampa Comic-Con at the end of this month, like the last weekend of July. I'm going to be there the whole weekend. I'm going to be drinking. I'm going to be meeting fans, signing stuff. Hopefully there's going to be at least one busty woman there who wants me to sign her boobs. That I would consider that an epic win then. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be good fun, and there'll be more of those things in future, like more Comic-Con like conventions and appearances and stuff like that. So yeah, watch this space. But I think that's pretty much it. That is all I've got for today. So I'm going to go away now.